The security situation at Kabul airport is again worsening days before the US and its allies pull out on August 31st. Tens of thousands of people have been gathering there, desperately hoping to leave Afghanistan. Washington is now telling US citizens gathered at the airport's entrances to leave immediately. Governments are increasingly worried about a terror attack at the airport. Poland and Belgium have already announced they're ending their evacuation flights.
With time running out to evacuate people, these are among the final flights out of the Afghan capital. Those who are able to leave know they may never see their homeland again.
I can't explain it with words. And I am not sure my tears will be able to explain it. It was always so hard, and it is still so hard.
Heartbreak and yet a luxury for those able to flee. Fleeing may not be an option this time next week. The Americans say they will leave Afghanistan at the end of the month. European allies will follow suit, but U.S. cargo jets may soon not be carrying Afghans.
So in those last couple of days, we will begin to prioritize military capabilities and military resources to move out. That doesn't mean that that if you're an evacuee and you need to get out, that we're not going to try to get you out.
Not all who want to leave will be able to. The Taliban say foreigners can go, but citizens cannot. Standing knee-deep in sewage water, they plead with soldiers guarding the airport, knowing time is running out. Just getting here was a near impossible task, but this may be where their difficult journey ends.
For people who are outside of Afghanistan, 31st August is just a date. But for us, it's like whether you will go or you will stay forever.
Stay and live under a Taliban Afghans know all too well, or try to escape with little chance of returning.
Matt Zeller joins me now from Washington, D.C. He's with the Association of Wartime Allies, and he's also a veteran of the war in Afghanistan. Welcome to DW. Your association helps interpreters and others who have supported the U.S. in Afghanistan. Can they all be evacuated in time before Joe Biden's deadline?
No. By our estimation, we're going to leave upwards of 175,000 people behind.
And what should the United States do with those people?
We made them a fundamental promise that in their moment of need, in their darkest hour, if they were in duress, we would take them with us. We should be keeping that promise. We should not be allowing the Taliban to dictate terms to us. We are still the most powerful military on the planet, and for once we ought to use it for a sole purpose of good. I have to tell you, as a veteran and as an American, I'm deeply, deeply disappointed in my government and my president for letting the Taliban dictate the terms of this withdrawal.
Now, there must be hundreds of individual stories of people who are trying to get out. Give us a picture of what it's like for those who are waiting for evacuation right now.
So if you're an Afghan right now, you have about a day left to get to the airport by some means. And that is a seemingly impossible task now. The Taliban have surged their special operations troops into Kabul. They're called the Haqqani Taliban. They look like U.S. special operations soldiers with their uniforms and American-made equipment and gear. They are now responsible for the security around the airport. They are preventing any Afghan passport holder from getting to the airport by whatever violent means is necessary. The only people who are allowed through are foreign passport holders. We have tried desperately to get our Afghan wartime allies, all of whom only hold Afghan passports, many of whom hold valid U.S. visas, to the airport. They have been promised flights, and they simply cannot get through. On social media, you've seen, I'm sure, the horrific scenes of the human squalid conditions outside of the gates. There's no working toilets. People have been in line for days. The temperatures are hot, humid, and oppressive. There's no food. There's no water. The Taliban go through the crowd and beat people indiscriminately and often fire into the air or on the ground to try to move the crowd along. What you're now going to see, however, is the lack of American and allied soldiers on the other sides of those walls. They're going to begin being replaced by Taliban soldiers manning the gates at the airport. And so while Afghans have this whole time had at least maybe an allied, NATO allied member that they could wave down, the Italians were brilliant. They told all of their evacuees to tie red scarves or red pieces of fabric around their wrists and hold it up. And that way an Italian service member would know that that was somebody that they needed to evacuate personally. If you could get in sight with them, they often could come and get you. That's going to end. The Taliban said in their press conference yesterday, no Afghan is allowed to leave Afghanistan, and Sharia law is coming.
Matt Zeller, thank you so much for your insights. War veteran and with the Association of Wartime Allies, Matt Zeller, thank you.